Today, I will be doing a video testing out the range and efficiency of the all-new 2022 Tesla Model X Long Range. We're going to be comparing it to the Model Y Long Range with the Gemini wheels. This is a loaner car since our red performance Model Y is currently at service getting its rear motor inverter replaced. It's been 7 days, it's at the service center, so thankfully Tesla gave us this loaner. For me, I'm going there specifically for this video. My sister does have a business trip that she had to attend to, so she did get permission from Tesla to drive the car that many miles. Make sure if you guys have a loaner vehicle, you get a permission if you're driving to some other city, let's say. That way you'll be safe, you're not going to be violating that contract that Tesla gave you. So we're gonna drive down. It is a pretty long drive, 276 kilometers. And if you don't know, supercharging is actually free for loaner cars, so you don't have to pay for it since it gets billed directly to Tesla. And with our experience, we haven't been billed back the amount we've used in a supercharger. But this is where we're heading. I did charge at home. We're at 89% battery. We have the Trip A, 49 kilometers, 10 kilowatt hours is what I've used, and then 213 watt hours per kilometer. I'll simply reset the Trip A here. Now we'll go over to the other vehicle and see how it is. We're at 13 degrees Celsius right now, 89% battery. We have the new energy app right over here. So we've got the current drive, then we can see the trip. So it says we will have around 29.3% battery once we reach there. It also shows you some consumptions with this new energy app. They took that away and then thankfully they brought that back. We can also go from since last charge. So I charged at home, and this is kind of what we're doing when it comes to elevations and driving and climate, all that stuff. It's very nice information here. Sitting inside the Model Y Long Range, I mean, this window makes a weird noise. Do you hear that? The trunk also makes a noise as well. So what are we looking at here? I'm gonna type in the address. We're at 83% battery on this car. It says we will be there with 9% battery. This one does not have the updated energy app. If I go to the trips, this car used 50 kilometers, 13 kilowatt hours of energy, so 258 watt hours per kilometer. That's interesting. I mean, it's got the Gemini wheels and also the covers and all that. And then reset the trips here. This way we'll know what kind of efficiency we're getting, and we will also drive to the same location behind one another and trying to maintain the same speed so that it's all pretty similar results when it comes to efficiency. So 12%, mine was around 20%. So we'll just see how it does. Maybe we might pull over to Red Deer and then charge up there, but we don't want to be late from the meeting, and charging adds up time. We've put 50 kilowatt hours of charge so far into the battery, so it's much better to get on a trip with a fully charged battery than it is to come up, stop at a supercharger to start your trip, let's say. My Model X showed 89% while I was making that turn there, and we're at 89% battery, so I'll just unplug and then we'll get on our way.
It's 89 now?
I just spoke Armenian. It says we'll be there with 29%. I forgot one thing. Can you touch the battery percentage? How many kilometers?
429.
On the Model Y and on the Model X, we're looking at 494 kilometers. I don't like how you can't just touch and then change. I wish this was a touch screen. You have to go through settings to do that. You can just touch. Let's go on with the trip. We have 111 kilometers to go. The car says we'll be there with 19%. Currently at 46%, 15 degrees Celsius. The Model Y Long Range says we will be there with 6%. So we don't want to go there with 6%. So we're gonna go and add a stop to a supercharger. So we're at 37% battery. Again, the same amount of distance, says 7% battery. So what we'll do is we're just gonna add a supercharger to Edmonton. We will reach there with 8%, and she has full self-driving on this loaner car. We're gonna do the same here for my car. So supercharger Edmonton, and it says we'll be there with 25% battery. So far, this car is doing much better with the range. was a huge traffic, so we were rerouted to another way, and this car is at 8% battery right now, and it says we'll be at the Edmonton Supercharger with 4% battery. 8%, I definitely think we should be able to drive 12 kilometers. Model X is at 22%, so far this car is doing fantastic. We'll be there with 19% battery, and both cars were traveling behind one another, so same speeds. We're at the Edmonton Supercharger, arrived with 5%, well, 4% battery. And let's look at the efficiency here on the trips. Since last charge from Cross Iron Mills, we've used 56 kilowatt hours of battery, 204 watt hours per kilometer here on this Model Y long range. Distance says 21 kilometers is what we have. The Model X does have a way better range. So let's get this plugged in. It's only 150 kilowatt hour charger, so it's not going to be super quick, unfortunately. So it's not a 250 kilowatt hours, but there it is. It's ramping up, and we did make it. To charge from 5% all the way to 100%, it says it'll take 55 minutes, and I believe the battery was getting preconditioned since the address was set to the Supercharger, for example. But yeah, so that's that. Let's go take a look at the Model X. Arrived with 19% battery, 105 kilometers, way better range here on the Model X long range. So the distance was 278 kilometers. Total energy was 63 kilowatt hours of battery. That's what we used. Average energy was 226 watt hours per kilometer. Getting here with 19% is really awesome. My car also has 18,000 kilometers on it right now, so that car does have more mileage on it. So I made it here with about 16% more battery than the long range Model Y. I'll just plug this car in. This one, I only have 4 kilometers of referral charging left. I don't know. Am I gonna get billed if I charge up to 100% later on? Like, I don't know, to be honest, but starting to charge. So to charge up this car to 100%, 55 minutes. It has always showed me the cost, and it never billed me because I had the referrals. So let's see what happens. Like, if I charge the car here, will it bill me later on for the difference minus the 4 kilometers that I have left from the referrals? But I'm just gonna get to the mall and we'll just see how it goes. Back in the car, 79% charge, and here's the new energy app. I mean, look at that. It shows you everything. This is since last charge, so since I charged from home. This car, guys, the range on the Model X is just amazing on the long range. There goes the Model Y. And I was just able to find a PlayStation 5. Like, this is a 2 video in one. Friend of mine, we were both looking for a PS5, and finally we found one. It shows it's $33.73. Let's kind of see what happens if I unplug. 94%. It does say I was charged $14.41. So yes, it did charge me a difference, it seems like. So I will be charged this on my credit card. Ended up setting up the address to get home. It told me to stop at Red Deer to supercharge, so I removed that because we will be home with 10% battery from 87%, since supercharging is more expensive than charging at home. This is how many kilometers I drove so far after supercharging. Have reset the trip A, so let's see what kind of results we get. I'm gonna have the climate to 21 degrees. Off we go. Just made it home with 4% battery. It's 9 degrees. We've had temperatures to be around 2 degrees Celsius as well. Here's the energy graph. We have used 6.6% more battery than it projected. 83.7% consumed. We arrived home with 4% battery. Going uphill cost 11.3% and going downhill saved 7.9% since your last charged. Go over to the trips. 320 kilometers, 75 kilowatt hours is what I've used. 234 watt hours per kilometer. 4% gives me 20 kilometers. Then I'm gonna reduce this to like 89%, something like that. That must be 90. And we'll just plug in the car and see how long it takes to charge from 4% to 90. I do have power sharing from the wall connectors. Looks like the Model Y Performance is actually charging, but it might take some time for us to get the full 48 amps going to this car. Getting 21 amps, it will take 17 hours and 45 minutes to reach to 90%. If I unplug this vehicle, and that will take about 8 hours. I will plug this back in because we are gonna have colder day, but overall it comes down to the fact that since this is already done, over time during the night it will automatically get more amps sent to this car. Right now it's getting, you see, 32 amps. It was like 21 before. Automatically sends it to the car that needs it most, so it's very smart, and 34 amps is what this car is getting right now. Long trip, but well worth it. It was nice seeing what kind of range the Model Y gets versus the Model X, and it's a huge thing. Like, I mean, we left with the same battery percentage. The Model Y is smaller than the Model X. I really did not expect it to use that much more power percentage to get to the same place, and especially having the Gemini wheel, so nothing fancy about it, but I guess it might have had a little bit of battery degradation since it was a 2020 Model Y. We were behind one another, traveling the same speed, and overall those were the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. So yeah, the Model X definitely gets a lot more range in the real world, traveling to the same place, same temperature than the long range Model Y.